can you describe the first time you realized that you were facing a mental health challenge?
When I was really young, after I've looked back and been to all the therapy, it was when I was really young, to be honest with you. I come from a family, many families, food is very important. And I remember when I was younger how my family, my grandmother, or my aunts and everybody say, well, you know, you got to eat, if not hungry. They'd say, well, you not love me. Not realizing in their time and their generation, it didn't mean anything to them. But as I sat, it really made me feel as if I don't please somebody else, then I'm not going to love them. They're not going to think I love them. They're not going to love me, and I'm going to hurt them. And so I've got to give up my identity for them. And this was when I was 7 years old. I'll never forget it. It was at my aunt's, Rio Linda, California. And it was a statement that stuck with me. And all these years I tried to say it's okay, but I realized it set me into a place to where I had to please other people, because then I thought they're not going to like me, especially if it was my grandma. My whole life, she never said anything bad to me. My grandma was an amazing lady, but I took it one way, and then that made me realize that it started then. Then I looked at the way I behaved. I looked at my interactions with people. I looked at becoming a people pleaser and realized up until my adulthood, that stuck with me, and I needed you or someone to like me to feel validated. And it was tough, but it was an eye-opening a moment for me. And a lot of therapy got me to realize that was a moment. Because what happens with a lot of us, if we deal with trauma, we push it down, or we think it didn't actually happen, or we make excuses for the person that might have been part of it, or we say, oh, I'm fine now. But the reality is we're not. That's why we have to keep working on things.
Interesting. So there was a moment during your therapy sessions or through the therapy sessions that you kind of unlocked that moment?
Yeah. The person said, think about this, here's your behavior, when do you, and then I realized when it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. All right. So number 2, how has your perception of mental health evolved over the years?
It's a difficult question, a great question, but if you're not aware of things, you're not aware. I lived a lifestyle where I wasn't aware of, let's put it this way. I didn't allow myself to be aware of what was real. I was aware of what I wanted, not always what I needed, about what I wanted. I was very selfish, very me, because I didn't want to hear other people's opinion. I didn't want to hear what they had to offer. But when I slowed down, I started working with a therapist. I started being honest with myself. I realized that a lot of the negative things in my life came from my mental health issues. When they first diagnosed me with bipolar, I went to see a different therapist. You've got to make a mistake. You've got to be wrong. Then I realized I needed to look at what the symptoms are and the behaviors, and I fit it perfectly. But then again, I wanted to deny it because at night, to this day, a lot of nights, I cry myself to sleep at night. I wake up crying. I have horrible dreams, horrific nightmares. And so over the years, I've realized it's okay. When I didn't want to be dealing with reality and I didn't want to admit that I had a problem, that's where it was hell. Now I look back and I think, okay, now I know why this happened. Now I know why I acted that way. Now I know why I did this. I see it. It's never too late to change. There's times where I get angry. I'm like, I wish I could have noticed this earlier. I wish I would have listened to people earlier. But I had to go through this journey, no matter how hard it was, no matter how hard it is, no matter how hard it will be. But over the years, it just took time for me to realize that this is the truth. No one likes to be told you have mental health issues. It's a stigma. Sadly, it's a stigma. And the reality is, you got to wear anything you have as a badge of honor. Use it to the best of your ability, because if you're helping yourself, you're helping others. And the life that you live is so much better when you accept it. And that's what happened for me, and it continues. And I'm praying to God that it stays this way and only gets better. But again, that all depends on me, not another person.
Absolutely. All right. So number 3, what has been the most significant obstacle you faced in managing your mental health?
Me. I'm my own obstacle. I've allowed myself in my life, and many people who have obstacles will say it's a person, it's a job, it's a situation that happened. Could be. Remember, those people are part of our life. Mine has been me, denying the truth about myself, denying what I want to do in life, denying what I like in life. You listen to religion, you listen to family, you listen to people you meet, and you want to fit in, you want to do everything right, you want to be not that person that goes against the grain. Well, I've always gone against the grain. Then I realized at some point, in my early 30s that I like who I am. I never loved who I was, but I liked who I was. And I did my own thing. I did my own beat, so to speak. But I realized that the obstacle was always in me. Anything I've done, I had a conversation the other day with someone, whatever I've succeeded in, I've made it happen. No one's given me a damn thing. They haven't. I've made it happen. To this day, people I work with, no one comes to me and says, hey, we got a project. We got something for you to do. It's always, what can you do for me to help this work? But my stuff I've done, but I've now put myself in situations where I work with amazing people. We can work hand in hand. They put 50% in, I put 50%. It's never one or the other now in a few situations. But I've been my biggest obstacle, denying myself, lying to myself, staying in my addictions because they feel so good. It's interesting. I've taken cold showers 2 a day for the last 30-something years. And the other day I was having a discussion with someone. I tried to explain. I said, okay, here's how it works. I hit that shower, sweet Jesus, Mary, Mother of God, and everybody out there, I'm awake. It's there. I take a warm shower. It's comforting. It's nurturing. It's relaxing. Now, if I'm tired, it's like going to bed. Go to bed one night and don't put any blankets on. You freeze to death sometimes. You can't sleep. You put the blankets on. That's what it's like in life when you have an addiction, like me with the sex, the food, the gambling. That was my blanket. Now I get a cold slap in the face with reality because I have people in my life who are going to tell me what they think. And I'm still my own obstacle. I'm still my own worst enemy. Some cliches, well, every cliche is true to many degrees because they come from someplace. But I've learned to deal with it. And every day I struggle to be honest with myself because I'm the main obstacle. And if I choose the right ones, success is here every day. If I choose the wrong ones, it's not an easy day, but I can get through it.